Cumberland Fire District Fire Committee to order at 6:45. If we could all stand for Pledge of Allegiance in a moment of silence. We stand in a moment of silence for the fallen first responders and the friends of the Cumberland Fire District. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty, justice for all. So the special meeting tonight is quite an honor, as we're going to be swearing in 2 firefighters and promoting 2 firefighters to lieutenant and the lieutenant to deputy chief. And at this point, I'll turn the ceremony over to Chief Kenneth Finley.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman. Welcome to the firefighters, active firefighters that are in attendance, the retirees that have come out to see this joyous occasion in the Cumberland Fire District and the Cumberland Fire Department for the promotion of a deputy chief, 2 lieutenants, and the installation of 2 new firefighters.
Thank you, Chief. First, order of business, I'd like to call on the town's mayor, Mayor William Murray, to say a few words. I will say that in the last couple of instances that the district's gone through, the mayor has been there supporting us and tells it as it is, and we look forward to his continued support. Mayor?
Thank you, and congratulations to our 2 new recruits and the promotion of our other members of this elite fire department. And I say that clearly because it's a pleasure as the mayor to be able to go around the state of Rhode Island and be told about what a great fire department we have under the leadership of Chief Finley. I've said it before publicly that it's a pleasure, even though the fire department does not fall under the town's boards. It's always a pleasure. The chief is included in many of our safety, or all our safety meetings, and it is certainly a pleasure to work and to see the fire department of Cumberland and how they respond. I've gone to a couple of the fires. Some of them are unfortunate when we have people displaced, but it's always really gratifying to see the job that you people do. So on behalf of the town, I congratulate you. I congratulate the families for supporting these men, because I know it's a tough job, and your support means a lot to them and a lot to the town. So again, on behalf of the town, congratulations. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, the first candidate this evening is Lieutenant Jeffrey McCabe for promotion to the rank of Deputy Fire Chief. Lieutenant McCabe began his career as a call firefighter in the former North Cumberland Fire District, where he spent 2 years. He was hired in the Cumberland Fire District on March 13, 2001, where he spent his entire career, being promoted to lieutenant in September of 2012. Lieutenant McCabe has qualifications under NFPA 1001 in firefighter level 1 and 2, NFPA 1021 fire officer qualification, and NFPA 1521 fire department safety officer. Lieutenant McCabe has been treasurer of the IAFF Local 4114 for 2 years. He was president of Local 4114 for 11 years and vice president of the current Local 2722 for a year and a half. He also is the treasurer of the Cumberland Public Safety Union Hall from 2009 to present. He has participated in the North Attleboro Firefighters Kids Day Association, volunteering his time, and with 18 years of experience currently serving on the executive board. Mr. Chairman, if you'd administer the oath.
Thank you, Chief. Just one more thing I'd like to say. I want to cut it short so I get the mayor in. But it's exciting to see that the Cumberland Fire District continues to grow and mature. It's exciting to see the talent that we have within our own department. These gentlemen just didn't get like a who's next in line type thing, or those who want to be deputy chief or lieutenant, raise your hand. They went through some rigorous testing, and I was talking about it with the chief last week. These are national tests. We give them the books that we are going to have our men study from, and from those books, this company down in Florida creates the test. So it's not a willy-nilly thing. And it was really exciting to see that the finalists all in the high 90s on that testing. That's not an accident. That's a well-earned test score. And then the difference between the finalists, a point and a half. It was, I wish we could have more deputy chiefs. Well, they want more deputy chiefs too, but. So the test results are, speak volumes of these gentlemen. And again, it's going to be my mantra now and forever, that the merger again proves it's working, and working well. And I'm proud to be here to administer this oath. So Deputy Chief, you can state your name in the right place. Raise your right hand. I,
Jeffrey McCabe,
do solemnly swear to uphold the Constitution of the United States
do solemnly swear to uphold the Constitution of the United States
and the laws of the state of Rhode Island
and the laws of the state of Rhode Island
and the rules and regulations of the fire department
and the rules and regulations of the fire department
for the position of Deputy Fire Chief
for the position of Deputy Fire Chief
until legally discharged therefrom.
until legally discharged therefrom.
Congratulations, Deputy.
Thank you, Chairman.
At this time, I would like to call Deputy Chief McCabe's father, Frank, to come forward to pin the badge on him. The next two candidates we have are for the position of lieutenant. Lieutenant John Bradley is a lifelong Cumberland resident. He was hired by the Cumberland Fire District in November of 2002 and worked many years at Station 1. Lieutenant Bradley was awarded the Life Safety Award for outstanding actions while responding to a call in June of 2015. John and his wife, Michelle, have been married for 11 years and have 6 children. When he has spare time, John is a hockey dad and enjoys watching his son skate. John is also the brother of Lieutenant Dan Bradley of the Cumberland Fire District and Town Councilman Peter Bradley. The other lieutenant candidate is James Matson. Lieutenant Matson attended Charles Shea High School, graduating in 1982. He attended Rhode Island College and obtained a bachelor's in psychology, furthered his education at Rhode Island College, and received a bachelor's in criminal justice sociology. He completed studies in fire science at the Community College of Rhode Island in 2015. His standards from the Rhode Island Fire Academy include NFPA 1001, Level 1 and 2, Fire Instructor, NFPA 1041, Level 1, Fire Officer 1, NFPA 1021, Level 1, Hazmat Operations. He has been an emergency medical technician cardiac since 2003 and has been employed by the Cumberland Fire District since May 12th of 2004. Mr. Chairman.
Gentlemen, if you could raise your right hand and insert your name in the proper place. I
John Bailey.
do solemnly swear
Do solemnly swear
to uphold the Constitution
to uphold the
Uphold the
Constitution
Constitution
of the United States
of the United States,
and the laws of the state of Rhode Island
the laws of the state of Rhode Island,
and the rules and regulations of the fire department
and the rules and regulations of the fire department
for the position of lieutenant
for the position of lieutenant
until legally discharged therefrom.
until legally discharged therefrom.
Congratulations, guys.
At this time, if I could have Lieutenant Bradley's oldest son, Shane, approach the podium. I remember reading to you at Gotham. And at this time, if I could ask Lieutenant Matson's father, Elmore Matson, to approach the podium. Lieutenant Matson's badge has some personal significance. When Lieutenant LaFawn retired, he asked me to hold on to this badge until Jim made lieutenant so that he could pass his badge on because they had worked together for so many years. So tonight, you're receiving Lieutenant LaFawn's badge.
Thank you.
We have two new candidates joining the ranks of the department tonight, which I am very proud of. The first is Tyler Cookson, who comes to us from Swansea, Massachusetts. Tyler has been involved in the fire service for 7 years. Tyler is very passionate about his work and also his family. He is looking forward to a rewarding and fulfilling career with the Cumberland Fire Department and has already proven himself to be extremely adaptable when we have children events. He can relate extremely well with children, and it's an asset that we plan on employing. Firefighter Ed Beauregard is a Lincoln resident. He has spent 4 years with the Salesville Fire Department. He currently holds an EMTC license, and he previously worked for MedTech Ambulance for 8 years. Ed has Firefighter 1 and Firefighter 2 NFPA certifications. If you could step forward, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Come on up this way, guys. Before you raise your hands, I want to tell you the chiefs put a lot of faith in you, and so have these men, because you're going to be watching the back one day. But I want to thank you guys for putting your faith in us. As a new department, per se, it means a lot that you stepped up, took the exam, and when you offered the job, you said, that's where I want to start my career. So I want to thank you personally. You state your name. You're at the right place. I, I'm sorry, raise your right hand. I do solemnly swear to uphold the Constitution of the United States
To uphold the Constitution of the United States
and the laws of the state of Rhode Island
and the laws of the state of Rhode Island
and the rules and regulations of the fire department
and the rules and regulations of the fire department
for the position of firefighter
for the position of firefighter
until legally discharged therefrom.
until legally discharged therefrom.
Congratulations.
At this time, I would like to ask Tyler's fiancee, Jennifer Gagney, to approach the podium. And if I could ask Ed Beauregard's wife, Cassie, to approach the podium. At this time, I would invite the members of the board to come down and offer their congratulations to the promoted and the new recruits.
At this point, that concludes the ceremony for tonight, and so ends our special meeting. We'll adjourn in a second. We have about a 15-minute break before our regular monthly meeting, and at that point, the chambers are open for pictures and well wishes to shake the hands of the deserving gentlemen. Motion to adjourn, gentlemen.
Motion.
Motion by Commissioner Champagne, second by Commissioner Parent. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 6-0. Thank you. Good evening. I'd like to call the regular meeting of the Cumberland Fire District to order at 7:18. We've already said the Pledge of Allegiance, so we'll just continue with the regular agenda. First item is general announcements. There's a couple. First, tonight is the first time we're having the meeting professionally videotaped. The microphones are tagged right into the video camera, but we have to have the green light on, and we're asking that everybody ensure that they speak clearly into the microphone. The second item is policy of the committee. In the packet, there's two policies that we're implementing tonight in an effort to ensure the full fire committee meetings run at an efficient pace and all input is recorded accurately. The following two policies are being implemented, effective for the next full meeting next month. First one is financial questions. It is a policy of the fire committee that all financial reports be reviewed prior to the meeting that they will be presented at. It is the responsibility of the commissioner whom would have questions to present them to the finance director by Tuesday morning of the meeting. The finance director will research and present the questions and answers at the full committee meeting. The commissioner who asked the questions will be credited for such questions on the record. It is understood that during the financial review, a question or two may come up. The finance director will do their best to answer, but it is understood it would be best answered with research. The finance director would take the question and forward the answer to the requesting commissioner. Policy 2, review of the minutes. As the meeting package is available now on Thursdays, prior to the full committee meeting, it is required that all changes that would be requested shall be made in writing, enough for each committee member and district clerk.
Sorry.
That's okay. That will allow the members of the committee to understand the request and changes and can be made at the meeting. This will ensure minutes are approved and posted on the Secretary of State site per the Open Meetings Act requirements. The other announcement is that all packets now of the full meeting will be posted on the website Thursday by 5 p.m. And the goal is to get out the packet to the full committee and key employees by email by Thursday afternoon 3, 4, 5 o'clock the latest, but generally by 3 o'clock. That's 5 full days prior to the meeting. That's the same amount of time as the town council has to study their package and be professional and courteous and provide the questions ahead of time so they can be accurately answered, and nobody's felt like they're being put on the spot. Again, for those 1 or 2 questions that come up, we understand that they'll have to be taken down and returned with an answer. Next item is consent agenda. 2 items, approval of the minutes from 3/1 and approval of the minutes from 3/22. We'll take 3/1 first. You included in this packet is the minutes, and there were several changes requested by Commissioner Kutsiani. Those changes are noted and highlighted so you can see the difference. And the only item that I didn't put in as he requested would be on the last page, where he asked to take out that graph, which I read from directly, and though it's not in the format, I guess we could have put the words there, but it just seems that the graph is what I used to read from, so that's what's in the minutes. Pleasure of the board. Commissioner Champagne moves to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Motter. Any comments?
Mr. Chairman,
Commissioner.
I know you've said you've included all of my comments except the latter one. I bring your attention to what I also requested on, excuse me for a minute here. On page 4, I indicated and requested that I did not present said resolution to the town council, nor did I participate in drafting or presenting the resolution. That was not included in my request. You also
Hang on a second, I'm not that fast. So page 4 at the top, you mean, in line 120, 121?
Well, with the original minutes, that's what I had on, yes.
It says, it's highlighted, and it says the chairman reviewed that 2, and I crossed out 2, and I inserted the word 1, Commissioner, in parentheses, Mr. Scullin had presented a resolution to the town with supporting testimony by Mr. Kutsiani. That's a fact. That's what I presented.
But that's not a fact.
You didn't give supporting testimony?
What I did is I made comments at the town council.
Well,
I said,
okay.
no, please, if I may.
Okay.
I did not say I supported the resolution. I made comments since we're talking about the fire department. So I made those comments. But in my request to you, I said, and I requested in writing, in an email to you, that I did not participate in drafting or presenting the resolution. You've added some language, and you didn't include the language I requested.
Okay. Any other comments? Any other comments? Hearing none. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Opposed.
Passes 4-1. Next item will be agenda from 322. Pleasure of the board. Commissioner Champagne moves to approve minutes from 322. Is seconded by Commissioner Parent. Any comments?
Mr. Chairman, if I may, on the minutes from 322, when Maria Lopes spoke, she spoke for a good 15 or 25 minutes in regards to the issue that she was bringing to our attention. None of those comments appear in the minutes whatsoever. She indicated and she spoke forcefully about the fact that the police report and the fire report were 180 degrees apart, and she supported what was in the police report and other things of that nature. None of those comments appear in the minutes whatsoever.
Commissioner Champagne.
I'd like to have a clarification from Madam Solicitor. Are we talking minutes? Are we talking testimony recorded by a student? The issue is, what does minutes have to be word for word, or are we talking about Mr. Cucciani talking that we're taking testimony here when we speak, such as a court reporter? If we're going to do things by word for word and exact, my understanding minutes are not that way.
Minutes can be very brief, actually. We now have a videographer here recording, word for word, everything that everyone's saying. Minutes do not have to be word for word, and as I said, they can be very brief. Obviously, we have comments and disagreement about what should and shouldn't be included in the minutes. The board has a right to vote on that, and whoever the majority rules. We could be here all night arguing over what should and shouldn't be included in minutes.
Thank you, Madam Solicitor. Just as a note, the 322 meeting is online. It's in 4 parts, but it is there. Any other comments?
Well, Mr. Chairman, I'm just going to make this comment quickly. I don't think this is an acceptable representation of her comments.
Thank you.
As brief as they were.
Thank you. Again, it's on videotape if anybody's interested in hearing a full testimony. Any other comments? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Opposed.
Passes 6-1. I want to note Commissioner Roulette is on vacation. Next item, old business. Chief's report on accident reporting. His report is in your packet. Does anybody have any questions? It'll be part of the minutes as far as the package goes. Does anybody have any questions for the chief?
Mr. Chairman?
Commissioner,
I think the chief has answered in detail as to the issues with Mrs. Lopes last month. There was questions last month about the charges, and we have that. That's the same standardized charges that's been accepted by the Rhode Island Association of Fire Chiefs throughout the state. So I'll make a motion to accept the chief's report as presented.
Commissioner Champagne moves to accept the chief's report as presented. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Motter. Any other comments? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Passes 6-1. 5-1. 5-1. Next item is new business. So at the 322 meeting or 3-1 meeting, there was a memo to the Finance Committee read at the meeting requesting for the Finance Committee to do a review of the Finance Department. And I'm going to, at this point, that review is included in the packet. And I'm going to turn the meeting over at this point to Chairman Champagne. Chairman?
Well, the Finance Committee met on April 5th, 2016. Myself, Chairman Cucciani, and Chairman Motter were present. The overview, the finance, we discussed reorganization of the Finance Department. The overview at this time is the current Finance Director, Consultant Thomas Bruce, is no longer available to serve the Cumberland Fire District. We are near to restructure the Finance Department. The Cumberland Fire District will be implementing a quarterly payment process for the taxpayers, and this will cause the tax collection process to extend throughout the year and increase the labor needs within the Finance Department. The current physical layout is not conducive to the operations in the Finance Department. We recently approved a resolution that the Tax Collection Center is now under construction. This will allow for a professional area for the taxpayers to make payments, including 3 windows, with computers and credit card payment equipment. The area will allow for office area for 3 employees. As a residual effect, will create office space for the fire prevention and plan review, including the fire prevention administrator. Through the chief of the department, the finance department will continue to observe the timely completion of this project. Along with the construction of the offices, we're contracting with Cox Communications to replace the phone system in all 4 stations. It'll be one network station. It will include a computerized system to include the hardware and long and local phone service. The current position of the finance director was filled by a person of extreme experience in municipal finance. Having this experience was instrumental in the successful merger of the 4 finance departments, as well as meeting the significant Rhode Island state financial requirements. Many of the requirements were not known to CFD prior to the merge. During this time of merging the departments, our employees were instrumental in this same process. This also gave them the same experience and knowledge that Mr. Bruce had. Also, at the meeting, we discussed that with the understanding that the chair, and it was approved 3-0, to appoint or allow Chairman Lemoyne to appoint the current business manager, Diane Carolishan, as temporary acting finance director effective immediately, and that this recommendation is coming before the full board tonight. With this employee reorganization, we'll increase the labor hours in the department by 15%. The recommended cost structure will be current benefits and salaries was $332,900 with the projected salaries and benefits of $249,743. This is a projected cost of 7% increase for an increase of 15% in production. Also, we discussed at length, it's common within towns and cities and municipalities to realign your budget. And that by meaning, we mean that when you have a line item that may be overspent, you realign the budget by taking an underspent line item and moving funds to the overspent line item. We discussed that. We didn't think that, I recommended that, I don't think it was appropriate at this time because it would cause more confusion than clarity as to trying to set the new budget for the coming year. By moving these funds around, we wouldn't know exactly what we spent because we took money from another line item and put it in this other line item to balance it off. So right now, the budget, at the end of the year, we will see exactly what we spent in each line item so we can appropriately forecast the budget needs going forward. You have to remember, this is the first year and the first budget which we had to make combine 4 budgets into one. With this being said, I will be recommending that this board approve the position of finance director to Diane Carolishan. Also with that, it will be taken up in a few minutes as to a position of tax collector to replace Diane.
Thank you, Chairman. Do you move to approve Resolution 12?
Yes, I'll make that motion, please.
Motion to approve Resolution 12. Is there a second? Is there a second? Seconded by Frank Motter, Commissioner Frank Motter. Comments from the board?
Mr. Chairman,
Commissioner.
I'd like to make a second motion to table this item due to lack of financial information.
There is a motion to table. Is there a second?
I already have a motion on the table.
You-
You can't motion.
You already had a motion.
I already made the motion.
You can't motion to table over that?
No.
Thank you. would have had a vote on it, but that's fine. Is there any other comments from the board?
Well, then I'll ask the question, Mr. Chairman. Why is there no financial information on this resolution?
It was just, went over with, in the financial report, it shows the affecting cost. The salary for this new position is $55,000 versus $77,000 from what we had budgeted for Mr. Bruce. And I'm not sure what else financial information you would need.
It's not listed in the resolution itself.
Is that a motion to change the resolution to add her salary in?
Plus any benefits.
Okay. Is that a motion?
Yes.
Well, wait a minute, I mean, that's fine, but you would never be able to give her a raise without doing a resolution. So, I mean, you can do that,
No,
but it kind of, it just makes it a little more difficult going forward, too. I take no position.
Thank you. I was in the hopes of trying to be cooperative. I would have done that, but I understand your comments, and I probably, no, I'll retract that offer. And again, ask if there's any comments from the board.
Well, all raises have to be approved anyway, so they would all come before a resolution for any raises.
We have the policy of approving a administrative budget during budget season, which is, at that point, is when the raises take a hold, so you're right.
May I ask a question of the solicitor, please?
Commissioner Champagne.
The question, madam, is, can I amend my motion to include what her salary is going to be, including her benefit,
Her starting salary?
her salary?
Yeah, just say starting salary. I'm really not trying to be difficult. I'm just trying to make sure it's not muddy going forward. Yes, you absolutely can. I would just suggest that you say starting salary so that, when people go to look at this 10 years from now, it's not, why is she being paid more? That's all.
Okay, I withdraw my motion. I'll make a motion to amend the resolution, correct? To include that starting salary for Diane Carolishan will be $55,000 a year, including health care, family health care.
Would that be under section 1?
You could make it, section 2 and then make section 2, section 3.
Commissioner Champagne, Chairman Champagne moves to edit amend the resolution to add section 3 stating the starting salary of the finance director shall be $55,000 with family. It's really not family. It's not Family Blue Cross. It is Blue Cross Plus One.
And just for the record, that obviously doesn't include, I don't know what the specifics are on vacation, sick time, personal time. I don't.
Well, that wouldn't change what she's already an employee. She's getting promoted to the next
I'm just
level.
making Mr. Scullin, understand that everything, it's not going to include all of the details of her employment. So for the record, she's going to have vacation time, she's going to have sick time, she's going to have personal time, or however it's given to the employees. That's all.
Madam Solicitor, you are correct, and I think all that should be included.
There's a motion to amend the resolution by adding section 3, starting salary of the finance director shall be $55,000 with Blue Cross Plus One insurance policy.
And just, again, because, again, I'm not trying to be difficult, but Mr. Scullin, on the town council, you get an executive salaries ordinance. This?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. You get an executive salaries ordinance every once or twice a year with all of the executives listed. It's not generally included in each specific, appointment. Again, I'm just So if this board is approving salaries, you're going to be doing that in another resolution anyway.
So there's a motion to amend and add section 3. Is there a second? Second. Second by Commissioner Mata. So, any other comments?
Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner?
Mr. Chairman, I think we need that more detailed information and not just here tonight to make a decision on it. There's no doubt that Ms. Carolishan does a good job for the Cumberland Fire Department, but I need to know what is the cost for the health care? Is she on single or family plan?
I just said
How
she's
much
on,
is she?
I just said she's on Blue Cross Plus One, so it's her and her spouse.
Mr.
Okay,
Chairman.
thank you.
Mr. Chairman, Phil already
If I-
knows that because we sent him the Blue Cross
I know
bills.
that, I know
Well,
that. He's got it all. He knows.
I don't know
Let
that
him- let him
because,
talk.
hold on,
Let him
if I
talk.
may,
Go ahead.
If I may.
Go ahead, Commissioner.
I have the document right here that was sent to me, and her name does not appear on it whatsoever.
Okay.
Okay? But listen, if I could.
Sure.
I think Mr. Scullin raises a valid point.
Absolutely.
The solicitor just indicated that when the town council does it, the numbers are clearly stated. This is the first time I hear the amount that is being paid. I'm hearing about, for the very first, I'm hearing, wasn't included in the package that was sent to me. Now she's getting a family plan, Blue Cross. Can I ask what cost that is per month, per year?
So, to clarify, when we vote on the executive staff at the town council level, we do not get Blue Cross information, we do not get vacation information, we do not get sick time information. It's a salary. So that's clear, okay?
Well,
So let me finish, Mr. Kutsiani. I understand you want to delay this, as we do every resolution, and that's fine. We are giving more information on this resolution than is done generally within governmental processes, out of respect and trying to be cooperative. Do you know what her vacation time is now, Mrs. Kutsiani? It was published. Do you know what it is?
Do I know? From memory, no, I do not.
Okay. So if you don't know it now, I don't know what the difference is in her promotion, because it doesn't change. So it's going to be the same benefit package as far as vacation and sick time, which is very minimal, which is under, by the way, what the town pays. So we're in a good position there.
May I ask how much she's paying for the medical coverage?
See, the thing you also maybe don't understand, Mr. Kutsiani, when you have a company with over 50 employees, we are guided by federal laws. So an employee, we cannot say to one employee, you can't have Blue Cross. If they come to us and say, my family is in need of Blue Cross, and here's the reason why, and there's a form they fill out telling us what happened, and we have to follow the law, and so we have to give them Blue Cross, so she pays exactly what the men pay.
Which is
$40 a week, copay.
$40 a week, not $30 a week?
Is it 30 or 40? I forget.
$30 per week for
This is why I don't
family
like these
coverage.
questions last minute, because,
You know-
I mean, all we're doing is start guessing. So she pays the copay as all the other employees do of the department, and that's guided by federal law. We have employees who do not have health care because they get it elsewhere. We have an employee who has contracted not to get health care. So, I mean, when an employee walks up and says, I suddenly need health care because my situation has changed legally and I'm entitled to it, we have to give it to them.
Mr. Chairman, I appreciate your remarks. I disagree with you in regards to the application of the federal law. And this, if I could, please.
Could you? No, Mr.
If I
Kutsiani,
could-
I'm
Look,
done.
I'm
Mr.
not trying to
Kutsiani.
delay
You
this.
are trying to delay this.
No, you could have
Then
provided.
tell me
you could have-
where in the
you
federal
could've-
law, Mr. Kutsiani, tell me where, Mr. Kutsiani, where in federal law am I wrong? 1. 2, this was all approved by you in her position at the Finance Committee. You had ample time to ask these questions then, but again, you wait till tonight. Going forward, Mr. Kutsiani, I've been trying to be very cooperative, trying very hard. You asked for the meeting packages early. We moved them from Saturday to Thursday, okay? I'm trying to be cooperative with you guys. But again, all we're trying to do is delay, and it's not going to happen no more.
If I could reply.
No, you can't, Mr.
I can't
Cucciani.
reply.
Your questions
Well, I
are
will
done.
reply.
No,
I
you
will
won't, Mr.
reply.
Cucciani. The floor
I'm
is
not
shut off.
trying to delay.
Somebody
You
move to
could have
call the
provided
question.
this information
Move
to
to
us
call
in
the
this
question.
package.
One move, please.
Commissioner Champagne moves to call the question. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Parent. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed?
Nay.
Okay, it passes. Question's called. So the question is on the amendment. All those in favor of the amendment, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Opposed.
Okay, very good. Thank you. On the full resolution as presented, is there a motion to approve?
Motion.
Motion by Commissioner Champagne. Is there a second? Seconded by Commissioner Parent. I think you want to you want to make a mention?
I just need to make one correction. It was reported that there were 3 service windows. That has been revised to 2 service windows, just for the record, so
Okay.
that when construction is done, there isn't a question where the 3rd window is.
All right, thank you. On the amendment as approved, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Opposed. Very good, thank you. Next item, I will now call up Finance Director Diane Carlishin. Her first duty as our new Finance Director is going to be to handle Resolution 2016-13. Before she does that, I would like to congratulate you
Thank you.
on your new position within Cumberland Fire District. It was like lights and bells went off in my head when the thought came to me of you, and I was like, that's just a natural fit. You know, we didn't read any of your qualifications into the record, but Diane has been with Cumberland Fire District in one shape or another for many, many years and has held many positions. She's our crackerjack tax collector, and she comes to us with a degree from Bryant University in accounting, so finances are nothing new to her. She has an excellent working relationship with the auditors and has met with the Department of Revenue and Office of the Auditor General. She already has a working relationship with those 2 departments of the state, which are very important, because though they're not here at the meetings, they are watching everything we do. They read our website, they read our minutes, they read our packages, they read the newspaper. I incorrectly made a statement in the newspaper one time. I got a phone call the next day from the Department of Revenue asking me not to say that anymore. So it's very, very closely watched, and she's got a great relationship with them already. And we look forward to the input you can give to the department, as well as training our new tax collector. So welcome, Diane.
Thank you. I look forward to it.
So the next order of business tonight is Resolution 2016-12, the 2016-13 appointment of Pam Fontaine as tax collector. Finance Director.
Be it resolved by the Cumberland Fire District as follows. Whereas Finance Director Carol Isham has recruited Pamela Fontaine for the position of tax collector and fully recommends her for this position. Whereas Pam Fontaine has the past experience for this position. Whereas Pam Fontaine has agreed to follow all governing laws, such as but not limited to Rhode Island General Laws, Title 44. Now therefore be it resolved by the Cumberland Fire District as follows. Section 1, Pamela Fontaine shall be an employee and hold the position of tax collector, reporting directly to the Finance Director.
Thank you, Finance Director. So as read, pleasure of the board.
Motion to approve.
Mr. Chairman, make a motion on the table, lack of financials again.
There's a motion to table. Is there a second? Second. And roll call vote. Commissioner Scullin.
Yes.
Commissioner Champagne.
Aye.
Commissioner Cucciani.
Yes.
Commissioner Mata.
Nay.
Commissioner Parent. Nope. Chair votes no. Table fails. Commissioner Champagne moves to pass tax resolution 13. And is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Parent. Pleasure of the board. Any comments?
Mr. Chairman,
Commissioner Kutsiani.
any chance of getting some financial information about the package that is being offered to her
When?
if this resolution passes?
Sure, we could go to
Well, what is the compensation?
Right now, it's
$20 per hour.
$20 per hour.
How many hours per week? 15?
30.
30? Is she being offered any medical coverage?
She is.
Single or family?
Single.
Any other comments?
Move, please.
I would suggest to the board, at least, you know, if you're going to do someone for 30 hours, it might be necessary, but maybe not at this point in time.
I didn't understand that.
Yeah, a statement.
What is it?
I just said, I'm questioning whether we have to hire her for 30 hours at this point in
What do you
time.
think we should hire her for?
Well, that might be necessary depending upon what happens with the tax rate that has to be established. That might be necessary, but not at this point in time.
So you're saying we don't hire a tax collector?
No, I thought we already had a tax collector.
No, we don't. Keep up with this, Commissioner.
I am
We just
I'm
promoted her
keeping-
to finance director.
She was the business manager.
Tax collector, business manager, tax collector.
Yeah, and we also have someone else doing taxes.
No, we don't.
Okay.
Mr. Kutsiani, I apologize, but I just can't keep up with the comments you make that just aren't based in fact. We have to have a tax collector. We don't have one now. We just promoted her to finance director. Any other comments from the board?
Mr. Chairman,
Commissioner Scully.
I know you say we just promoted her, and that's true, but she's also working more hours than the old finance director, so what's she gonna be doing with the additional hours? He was working 20 hours a week, she's at 35 hours a week.
Right, and her scope of work is different than what his was. He was involved in the strategical oversight of the finance department in working our way through an internal audit for the first time in 100 years of 4 different departments. He was working us through the inner workings of the Department of Revenue and the Office of Auditor General, so we could do this correctly and not end up like some of the other fire districts in the state. So he had a different focus. The new finance director has a more day-to-day operations focus. We've already met and I've assigned her the first project of developing standard operating procedures for the finance department, which right now there are any. That is a project alone that could take 30 hours a week. We understand it's going to take some time though. So there are plenty of stuff to do in a finance department. If you're not familiar with the finance department, maybe we could sit down with her and she could explain to you what she's going to do. But this job is very intense. Matter of fact, well, I'm not going to get into what one email said, but it's very, very intense. And I just can't, as long as you've been around in the fire departments, I don't know what else to say, but this is not a one department treasurer's position anymore. It's a $7 million company where we need a finance director at, just about full time. And believe me, 30 out, what are you working now? How many hours? Who knows, right?
35.
Yeah,
but
35. I know.
Usually they're
I know,
longer, so.
35. I thought I had strange hours. Commissioner Parent.
Mr. Chairman, didn't we just relinquish duties of a position, like a chief administrator? Wasn't that what just?
Yes.
So we promoted one, but we also, no?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, Tom Bruce.
Well, Tom Bruce, yeah, right.
Yeah, so
And so Tom Bruce got replaced.
I understand that, but there was no one else on, okay.
So,
Mr. Chairman, if I may ask,
sure, one more time, Mr. Commissioner.
I noticed Commissioner Champagne presented the financial department reorganization. Is this number that he has presented, projected budget for salaries and benefits, I'm going to round it off at $250,000. That will include Ms. Coalition.
I don't know, Mr. Kutsiani, I can't answer that question. I don't remember what to make that number up. I will get that information to you in detail tomorrow.
Can I you have no idea whether
No, I
that
don't know.
includes
I don't
any
remember.
benefits?
I don't remember.
Well, because if it doesn't include the benefits, we will now have 5 people on a medical plan.
Your comment is out of order because it's not relevant. We don't know what that number includes. I just told you I don't remember. So there's no sense in discussing what it might or may not include.
Well,
I will give you the details tomorrow in a spreadsheet like I normally do. It'll be in writing, and I'll stand by it.
Not like you normally do, but sometimes you
Okay,
have.
Okay,
But if I
so
could
we have a
just make
motion
my
on the floor.
statement-
We have a motion
if
on
I
the floor.
could
I'm
just
not going to
make-
have you talk to me like that, Mr.
If I could
Cucciani.
just make my statement,
Those slanderous
at 20
comments aren't
it's
going to be
not
allowed anymore.
slanderous, I'm asking
I
a
give you what
question.
you asked for, and that's that.
At 20,000
The next
times 5, that's
question on the floor is,
$100,000.
Mr. Cucciani, you're out of order.
Can we move,
We're going to stop this bickering, Mr. Cucciani. You're not going to be allowed to do it anymore. That's the end of it. This is embarrassing in front of new employees.
If
More
you
so
had
the
provided the
taxpayers.
information, we wouldn't have this.
Mr. Cucciani, all you're doing is dragging things up. You could ask why we number the lines for now. Is there a motion on the floor, Madam Clerk?
yes,
Is there a motion on the floor to approve? Is there a second?
yes.
Thank you. Roll call vote. Mr. Scullin.
No.
Mr. Champagne.
Yes.
Mr. Cucciani.
No.
Mr. Mata.
Yay.
Yay?
Yes.
Mr. Parent. You caught me. Chair votes yes. It passes 4-2. So, I will ask Ms. Fontaine to come to the microphone, as I have just a couple of questions for her to get them on the record. I want to point out that though it's not on her resume, maybe she thought it was going to be a negative, but Ms. Fontaine sat on the Foster Town Council for a certain period of time and has been married to her husband, Bob, who's also in the audience tonight. I assume that's Bob, right? You took her husband, not your boyfriend? That's a good choice. So he's familiar with this. She's very familiar with this. And she's had extensive tax collection experience. Quite frankly, we are very fortunate to have her in director's search for a new tax collector. She put out an email to the statewide organization of tax collectors, and that she was just asking one person if she knew anybody available. Well, that person then put it out to every single tax collector in the state. So we asked basically 30 people if they're interested in a job personally. We also had a press release in the paper, and Pam called and picked the phone up, and from what Diane tells me, the connection was almost immediate. And then she saw her resume, which was very well supported. So in your experience, Ms. Fontaine, you're very familiar with is it Title 44?
Correct.
Title 44, which governs tax collections.
Correct.
The reason why we're doing a resolution on this hire is to give Ms. Fontaine the authority to act on our behalf in matters of tax collection, which are governed by Rhode Island general laws. As a matter of fact, it's probably one of the stronger positions in the department that has penalties for not doing the job correctly. It's not something that's taken lightly. So you have extensive experience and knowledge of those tax collection laws.
I do, sir.
And when you were interviewing with the director, do you feel all your questions were answered about job responsibilities and the potential future for Cumberland Fire District and all the workings thereof?
Yes.
Thank you. Would anybody else have any other questions for our new tax collector?
Mr. Chairman, if I may.
Sure, Ms. Luciani.
Ms. Fontaine, I don't want you to believe that my remarks were something of a personal nature. I'm just trying to understand the situation and the methodology. Certainly, it appears from what you've submitted that you have the experience. That's not what I'm questioning. I thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other comments? Thank you very much.
I do have one correction. My
Sure.
name is spelled wrong.
Oh, my
It
goodness.
should be just Fontaine.
It's F-O-N what?
On the resolution that I have, it says FOU. And
Oh, okay. So, Ms. Solicitor, what do we do?
I think you could put on the record that that's a typographical error. You can just put on the record that you can make that change.
Okay. Thank you very much. I apologize for that.
not a problem.
It's spelt that way some places, though, isn't it?
As my husband corrected me,
What's that? In Canada. Well, see, I'm from, my family's from Montreal, so there you go. Thank you for your understanding. I apologize for misspelling your name. It's very important. But my name, Lamoy, is always, butchered L-A-M-O-I and whatever, so the Lemois never really makes it through.
I would like to take a moment to thank all of you for your vote of confidence and look forward to working with everyone.
Thank you very much. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Next item of business is a finance report. And Director will take that away. You all had it in your packets. It's the same finance report we've been looking at since July. Are there any questions for the Director? Are there any questions for the Director?
Motion to approve.
Commissioner Champagne moves to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Parent. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Passes 5-1. 5-1. Okay. Next item
Mr.
is
Chairman, could I just make one comment?
Sure.
I just want to say I've been working with Pam for a couple days now, and there basically is very little training involved. She is familiar with our vision system. She has run tax sales before. I could literally hand her all my files, and she can just take over. So it's been a godsend for us. So
I appreciate that.
I
I've been
appreciate-
I've been in a position where you've been able to have a good hire and it just fits right and you just move along. So I get a feeling that though we started with a bit higher overdue taxes than you're used to, and you've worked on the backlog quite well, I feel next year the collection rate will be back to what you're used to.
Absolutely.
Okay. Next item on the agenda is Resolution 2016-15. Let me get to it, please. Wait on there. So next item is Resolution 2016-15. The resolution is to authorize Finance Director Diane Carlson to pay off Navigate Credit Union.
That should be 14.
What's that?
Oh, you're on Rossi Law.
I'm on, okay, I'm
That's
sorry,
fine.
I'm sorry, okay, good. That's not a mistake. So we got Resolution 2016-14, my apologies. The resolution is authorizing Finance Director Carlson to sign the Rossi Law Collections contract. Be it resolved by the Cumberland Fire District as follows. From time to time, the Cumberland Fire District will encounter overdue bills in the tangible category. As with real estate accounts, the Cumberland Fire District cannot tax sale the overdue tangible accounts. Whereas Rossi Law of Smithfield, Rhode Island is a recognized leader in the collections and offers a valued service for a 25% contingency fee of amount collected. Therefore, we authorize Finance Director Carlson to execute the contract included in the package. It's a formality to have this on file. It just puts everything in a row. Pleasure of the board.
Motion to approve.
Commissioner Champagne moves to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Mata. Is there any comments?
Mr. Chairman,
Sure, Mr. Kutsiani.
just briefly, I saw where the proposal has that, and I am familiar with that particular law firm, but the 25% is monies collected or sent to the department, which I have no difficulty with, and I further have no difficulty with the clarification that the fire district will be responsible for any court costs of out-of-pocket expenses. That was in the package.
Okay.
Thank
Very
you.
good, thank you. Any other comments? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And it passes 6-0. Next item on the agenda is now 2016-15, authorizing Finance Director Diane Carolshin to pay off the Navigate Credit Union refinance loan on the 2009 PS engine. Be it resolved, the CFD has a refinance loan on a 2009 PS engine. Total payoff is no more than $108,000 and will be taken from the I'm going to read it as is. We're going to have to make a correction. From the Freedom National Bank account, line item, account number 1008. This account currently has $322,759 on the balance, and this will result in the savings of approximately $3,200. Now, therefore, be resolved that the Cumberland Fire District as follows. Authorizes Finance Director Carolshin use no more than $108,000 from the account to pay off the refinance loan on the 2000 PS engine. If we get the motion on the floor, can I please do an amendment first? Okay. So we need an amendment on the price, first of all. We thought it was 108, and it's a little bit more than that. Diane, do you have an exact amount?
No, it is about approximately 108.
But it says here no more than 108, so it's going to be,
Oh,
Put 100,
I'm going to put 110?
put 110.
Okay.
it's under 109, I can tell you that.
All right, so put 110, we're on the
So
safe side.
Commissioner Champagne moves to edit line 116 and line 24 to change the 108 to 110. Is there,
Actually, Navigant Credit Union, too, not
What's that?
Freedom. The loan is at Navigant?
yep, we're going to
Okay,
take care of that.
okay.
So $108,000 on line 16 and on line 24 changes to 110. Is there a second on that? Second by Commissioner Parent. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Second item is the monies are coming from Navigate Credit Union. I apologize, that is my error. She told me Navigate. So can I, Commissioner Catani?
And you didn't ask, I just wanted to know, that $322,000 that is at Freedom National Bank, that money was there as a result of the merger?
Yes.
It was always there.
No. I don't remember what the moves were.
Maybe Mr. Champagne has a better recollection.
If I'm not mistaken, that was money from the Cumberland Hill Fire District Truck Fund,
Okay.
please? Is that correct, Diane? Most of that money was from the Cumberland Hill Fire District Truck Fund.
Not all of it.
Okay, could you come back next meeting
Yes.
with a breakdown, please? The other item I need fixed is it's got to say on line 16 from the Navigate Credit Union bank account. I don't know the line number, so we have to cross that out. But the loan was taken out of Navigant, and we got to pay off through the Navigant fund. So may I have a motion to
Motion to...
correct line 16 and to read Navigant Credit Union?
Motion to edit.
And strike account number 1008. Mr. Champagne makes that motion. Is there a second?
If I may, I think you have to correct line 16 and line 24?
I got 25 to say, to get rid of the 1008, correct. So his motion is as follows: to correct line 16 as to read Navigate Credit Union, striking account number 1008. And line item. And so on, and then to line 25, and 24 and 25, where it says from account 1008.
And replace it with from Navigant Credit Union.
Okay, and the solicitor recommends to insert replace from Navigate Credit Union.
Mr. Chairman, just a question.
Can I get a second first on this?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Scullin. Mrs. Scullin?
If you're gonna replace that Freedom National Bank, that means the money's not in Freedom now, it's in Navigant?
I don't know the amount on the account, but it's in Navigant, yes.
So Freedom doesn't exist at all?
No, I thought it was coming out of, I took it as coming out of the truck fund. I didn't know about that she wanted to come out in Navigant.
No, let's clarify his question. That account does exist at Freedom. As you
But
just
that,
said,
but we're not using that.
we're not using the money from there. There's an account at Navigant
Navigant,
that had to do with the refinancing.
Right.
Okay.
I apologize. When I saw the request, I went to that line item and I shouldn't have. So there's a first and second to make those amendments. All those in favor of the amendments?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 6-0. On the motion as amended.
Motion.
Motion by Commissioner Champagne.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Parent. Any comments? Hearing none.
Mr. Chairman, just one quick one.
Sure.
Is there, I know we're gonna save $3,200, is there any other reason why the refinance? Is it just to clear it off the books, or
Yeah, it's just,
a big part of it?
there's no, like, we're not trying to sell it, we don't need a clear title of it, it's just to get it off the books. I mean, it's coming out monthly automatically, basically, we'd just be giving them $3,200 for nothing.
Mr. Chairman,
By the way, it was also reckoned by the Department of Revenue that we pay that off. Commissioner?
disregard, that was gonna be my question. If there's gonna be any kind of like recourse and savings,
$3,200.
that's it with interest or anything like that? Nothing.
Any other comments? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 6-0. Next item on the agenda is review of the chairman's presentation at Town Council on April 6th. There's a copy available in online of this full report. Commissioner Champagne? Did you, oh, you shut it off, okay. So, I was going to read this verbatim, but I'm not going to do that. Anybody who's involved knows what the story is. This report is for my presentation at Town Council, where I provided documented evidence contrary to comments made. The only point I like to make, as I told him I was going to make it, to allow him to be here, but he chooses not to be, is the comment made by Councilor Lambie as to what would happen if the town took over the fire department financially. His comment is as, quote, if you spread that $7.36 million and you add it to the $62 million as a percentage, that is 11.86%. And 11.86% of the $17.08 per thousand comes out to about $203. The $17.08 is the tax rate of the town real estate tax rate. So if you spread the 7.3 million over the real estate tax rate of 7.08, it comes out to about 203 per thousand, which is actually less than what the fire tax rate is, because it is spread out over tangible and cars and stuff like that. So it actually spreads the tax out to everyone in town instead of just the property owners. So the financial note actually provides for a slight decrease for the regular homeowner down to 203. I want to put this clear, and if any, Mr. Kuziani got a copy for you, so you won't say it's, you can't put it on the record. And if Mrs. Cullen wants one, that's fine. If anybody else wants one, I'll email it to him. Matter of fact, I'll put it up online. That is just, I hope he was just like making a mistake, because that statement isn't at all how the municipal tax rate is reached. One cannot simply take a town's tax rate and recalculate a new rate using the cost of $7.36 million as a percentage. It's also erroneously stated that the CFD budget can be spread out on tangibles and cars and stuff like that. Though we can't explain what stuff like that is, but the tangible tax rate is a rate of its own, as well as the car tax. Those are two separate tax rates. You take the tangible value, you had that tax rate, and that comes to a certain amount. You take the car value by a certain amount, and that becomes a levy. You take those two, subtract it from what you need, use your real estate value, not tangible and cars, but real estate value, that's where you get your tax rate from. You can't now take an additional expense and say you're going to spread it over tangibles and real estate, because you just can't do that. It's not like we're bringing value to the tangibles or the cars. We're bringing an expense. I've attached a summary of the Cumberland Town's tax levy, and in a nutshell, if you take the town taxes of $63 million, less the tangibles, less the motor vehicles, it comes down to approximately $53 million, or a tax rate of 17.08 on $3.111 billion of value. When you reduce that down to $3 million, because you get $1 per $3,101,000 per dollar. So you take the fire department's $7.36 million, so the new tax need is now $60 million. Using the same value of 3.11, that's a new tax rate of $19.45. The cost per $1,000 for the CFD portion would be $237, not $203. It's certainly a lot higher than $214, and I'll explain why. The next page of the report has a detailed explanation. Again, I'll post it online. I've got hard copies here if two people want them. The big difference is, and what is not being understood about municipal financing, is we give only a portion of the exemptions the town does. As soon as you take our value and lay it into the town budget, you have to apply the full scope of tax exemptions to that amount of money. That's where the $2.37 tax rate comes from, because our tax rate is based only on 50% of a majority of the exemptions. So they're forgetting that part of the equation. So to take our budget and throw it on theirs, it's an automatic $2.37 increase. Now, okay, there'll be savings. I don't know how the finance department is going to take on $7 million of new work and want to cut all our finance department. So let's say they cut 60% of it. And we take $232,000 off that $7.3 million. The resulting tax rate is $19.37 or $229 for the cost of the fire department. It's pretty clear. I'll entertain anybody who wants to sit down and talk about this as I make my offer at everything I say. It's taken directly from the town's website, their resolutions. I've included the resolution I spoke against, which is the town's resolution R1614, and I've included the minutes where these comments came from, and I checked and verified that all these minutes were approved without correction at the last meeting, so they're an official form of record from the town. I'm not going to get into everything that Mrs. Scullin said and or Mr. Cucciani, except for one thing with Mr. Cucciani, and that is he offered to sit down with anybody from the town council, with me present, to show his numbers and his information showing all our problems. And I got up, and at that night I said to Ms. Cucciani, I would take you up on your offer, and I'll put it on the agenda. And so that brings us to the next item on our agenda, is allowing Mr. Cucciani to present his numbers information as offered to the town council meeting on April 6th. This information to support his beliefs that the merger isn't working, the budget will have a deficit, and there aren't any savings. Ms. Cucciani, do you want to take us up on that, or do you rather pass?
It's not a question of passing, Mr. Chairman. First of all, the fact that you've put it on the agenda tonight without telling me in advance is highly unusual. And at the town council meeting, my specific words were, after you said you would meet with the town council, I indicated at that time that I would be happy to meet with the town council. Thank you. No further comment.
I know you. Then I turned around to you and I said very clearly, I take you up on that and I'll put it on the next agenda. So you knew about it that night.
If you said that, I certainly didn't hear it.
Of course
Thank you.
didn't. So the next item is adjournment. Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize. Hang on a second. Public input. Don't go scold us. We know we did wrong. Come on up to the mic, because now we're on videotape. You have to speak into that mic.
I did anyway.
State your name and address for the record, please.
Greg Dickomitis, 44 DeSoto Street in Cumberland. I don't know if I should address this to you or to the chief, but I'll go
To me.
there first.
To me.
With the new hirees, how many men does that bring the department to?
Back with the full staff of 51 plus the chief.
51 plus the chief, that's including the new deputy,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, oh, yeah.
Okay, 51. I have one other thing, and you have to give me a second. The refinancing of the pumper. That was the one that North Cumberland graciously refinanced at one of their meetings, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
It was one of the last meetings prior to the,
Okay, I just wanted that on the record because something else was stated about that, so I wanted that on the record also.
It was, yeah,
That was from a particular district.
that was in North Cumberland. They refinanced it. They were at a 2-point-something% interest rate with a couple of years left. They refinanced the truck, pulled cash out, went to a 7-year loan at about 5.5% interest rate. It cost, we've had 2 accountants look at it and analyze it. It cost the town-wide department now, or partly North Cumberland, $38,000 more for that fire truck than it should have because of the refinancing note.
Right, and that was also after they gave back
But
monies
they
monies
did-
to the taxpayers.
Yeah, what they
correct?
did is they refinanced first, and they lowered their tax rate, pulled that money out of the savings. And if you look at the audit report, it shows an amount of money presented by North Cumberland that year, and basically was the amount of refinancing, so.
Okay. One other one, and I'll let you guys adjourn. How many tax collectors do we have in the town?
In town,
Well, for the district, I should say.
we have 1 tax collector,
Okay.
and we're going to be hiring maybe 1 or 2 part-timers to augment that staff.
Well, I'm just asking because as somebody had mentioned that we had 5 people doing
No.
the same job.
No.
I wanted to,
Thank you. No, if everybody said, you
or
know.
4 people, I don't
Yeah.
remember, but it was
I have
it
an
was one
organi-
of the 2.
I have an organizational chart I used in that report. Maybe I'll stick that up online too to show.
I did see one of the organizational reports online. That's
Yeah.
why I'm kind of questioning the comments that were made tonight. That's,
Matter of fact, yeah, in the report that's online, very clearly in the minutes section, the org chart is in there. I've got to update it now that we've made a few moves, but the organizational chart is at hand.
okay. So we have 1 tax collector.
Right.
1 finance director, and you're going to be hiring 2 more part-timers. Is that correct?
We have a finance director, a tax collector.
Okay.
We have an assistant business manager, and we're going to be hiring 1 or 2 part-timers.
Okay, so
The
that,
assistant business manager does payroll and assistant tax collections.
I'm just curious.
It's not 5 people doing tax collections, no.
Okay. Thank you.
They wish. They wish. And just to let you know, through the proper management of Chief Finley, we never really went down. Although we had a couple of retirements, we never went down below staff. We anticipated the retirements, and we brought on firefighters early because they have to work a certain amount of time prior to being put on a truck. And if we waited until they retired and then hired, we would have had up to 2 months of overtime because they can't be counted on a truck until they're, past their initial
2001,
training.
2002, yes.
Right, so through the proper management of the chief, we had no overtime for that, and we also never went understaffed.
Okay, one last comment.
Sure.
I would appreciate the whole board to put their differences aside. The last 3 meetings that I've attended, we won't go into total, but for the good of the district, would you guys please